What's up, everyone? And thank you for tuning in to the Jim Carrey Project. I am your host, Brian Kondrach, and with me, as always, is my co-host,
Carrie Grant.
And today, we just finished watching Sonic the Hedgehog. That's right, we jumped way ahead of schedule from where we were in the early 90s of Jim Carrey stuff. And we are skipping way ahead because what's the opportunity? If you get an opportunity to see a movie that comes out when you're doing the project, you might as well take it. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today.
Yep.
As you can see, we literally are just hanging out in my car because we just got done. So let's get started. Sonic the Hedgehog. It is released on February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2020. Director Jeff Fowler. So far, it had a budget of $95 million with a box office so far of 113. So it's made some good money. And it's got Jim Carrey, James Marsden, Ben Schwartz, and some other people. So what'd you think?
It's cute.
Yeah?
So cute. Yes, definitely like a good kid movie, like little boy. I have two boys, so like that, it was just right up their alley.
They're gonna love it.
They're gonna be mad that I saw
it. That's what
but I'll go again.
It was a lot of fun, like for being a kids movie. I mean, I grew up playing Sonic, so it was really cool to see this movie and to see Jim Carrey come back, because this, as far as I know, he's doing stuff on Showtime right now with a show called Kidding. But this is his first foray back into major cinema and big movies for a while, since I don't even know. I know he's done some stuff on Netflix, but didn't get a chance to research a whole lot of stuff. But this is like his return. His return,
for sure.
And it's real funny to see him in it as Dr. Robotnik, the evil guy. He's very much Jim Carrey.
He is
still.
Totally. When I saw him, I just thought he just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
He's like, this sounds fun. He gets to kind of be himself and just be silly and just but a certain character as well. You know, it was fun to watch him. I thought
it was. He's got that evil kind of persona, but he's just a little nutso, which I feel
like he could just like call this in. Like he's like, I got this one. I don't need to think about it. Like, you develop the character some, and you have some of the. I mean, you never know. Like, I assume the writers would write the lines, but sometimes they just fit with him really well. So you almost think like, I wondered if he improv that or not.
He might have.
But I just thought he's like, I got this. Like, I don't have to like work too hard. I've been doing this a long time, and it's just right up his alley.
You want me to be the weirdo? Okay, I can be the weirdo.
Totally.
And he gets right in their face, and he's all over there.
It's fun to watch, though.
It is fun.
It kind of like. It makes you, I know he's here and everything, so it makes you nostalgic for him.
For classic Jim Carrey, yeah. Because there's definitely some parts where you're like, oh, we'll see this in Ace Ventura, or we've already seen this in some of his stand-ups. So, like, the basics of his, like, characters and persona that we see in stage, like, it's coming back even more refined and a little bit more than it ever was, like, for sure. Like, you see the nuances in all of his facial expressions and his the choice of where he puts the emphasis on the words that he's saying. He knows exactly what he's doing. You were saying he phones it in, but it's like at the same time.
I don't mean it like that, but like
he could, but he definitely
so
doesn't.
No.
I was a particularly big fan. Like, I don't, let me go back. I don't feel like we saw enough of him in this movie to be kind of the evil character, like evil bad guy, Dr. Robotnik, in the games of sorts. And you can't really base this movie on like how the games worked, but he was a constant heel in Sonic's like everyday level, every scene or every level of the game. Robotnik was present in there, and he was present in here in the movie. I feel like they could have definitely used him a lot more than they did, but it was still super fun to watch it. He's a crazy guy. He plays such a good crazy guy.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, you never know. Maybe they did have more footage and they cut it or something like that too. But you're right. Like, I mean, there were probably some other. I mean, the chase scene was kind of fun, and he wasn't actually in like the car that was chasing it, but he was part of it because he was controlling it and stuff. But maybe there could have been other situations where he was
using more of his robots, using more of his weird eccentric character even more so than what it was. But
Yeah.
we got to see him perform a dance number, which was super fun. That was a real interesting choice by the director, but also just having Jim Carrey be like this lunatic by himself, away from everything else, having a good time.
Yeah.
Like, this is where he finds his solace. Like, we created that and had a lot of good characters.
I mean, it fit with what they made him be. I mean, he said even before, like, he doesn't care about people, only cares about robots and blah, blah, blah. And then he's perfectly happy. Seems his happiest, kind of alone and playing with his robots. And so, I mean, I might have played the Sonic a few times.
Sega the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega.
I might have played it like a handful of times, but we didn't have a Sega, so I don't know all of the characters like you do. But I mean, but it was super entertaining, and they, definitely left it open for
a sequel or two or three. Spoilers. There might be some sequels at the end of this one. I think I would be very excited to see a sequel to this, because we have created this Sonic universe now. Yeah. There is another character. Tails does pop up. Spoilers. But we also see, at the end, I was waiting for the mustache and the big, like you see in the previews, you see the big mustache and the crazy face and the goggles of Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik, and what the character looks like in the video games is definitely pops up at the end, which is awesome, because now it's like, oh, we've got that character.
Is that what he looks like with the fuzzy mustache?
He gets real crazy in the games. That's more what he is. So he's gone off the deep end and he's in this thing. And
I wouldn't have known that.
Like, seeing that character throughout this entire movie would have, I think, made it a lot more of a bold choice. But you also have to get to that point where it's like,
why is he like that?
Yeah, he went so crazy.
They probably did it because they had to.
Because he's abandoned now. He's like he didn't have human connection, didn't care about human connection, but it's one of the things that kept him sane on Earth, whereas like now
they were holding him back in those ways.
Now he's gonna go absolutely bonkers.
Maybe they just plan on doing more movies all along, so they thought, let's develop that character. Maybe that's why we didn't see as much of him, because maybe we'll tease it out a little bit. Be developed more in the next one.
Yeah, if they could have a sequel.
But you're right. You do kind of have to set up the universe, especially for people like me who don't know what's going on. And there's probably a lot of people who didn't really play, especially the younger people. Yeah, they probably don't play Sonic now. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, it's funny. I do know that Sonic still exists, and Sonic is being released as a part of games like that are constantly being released.
So they
like
keep releasing it.
Sonic is to Sega what Super Mario is to Nintendo. So that is their character. Yeah. That if they have a racing game, or if there's a sports game for kids, or if there's like a mystery game or something, they've always tried to put Sonic into that
somehow.
Whereas Mario, it doesn't always work very well. The thing that Sonic has always been a fast-paced, like side-scrolling game, and Mario has been able to bounce around and things. So I think we'll see a bunch more of that. It just didn't necessarily exist. Talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, the video game, the very first world we see in the movie was straight up, they took out of the Sonic the video game and put into
is actually
CD
in the
stuff.
game.
Like, that is a 1-to-1. Like, this is what the first level of the video game looks like. The very first game that ever was released. It's like the loopy loop, and he's going over.
Do you have it?
We could find it. I mean, I have a PlayStation. We could probably find.
I'd be like, it's just like the movie.
Anyone with a Switch could probably find a version of it.
Find it now.
It's available. We can make it happen. Okay. We'll go play it. There's probably an arcade around here somewhere.
Yeah, it's true.
I just figured out. I know exactly where to go. It'd be a brewery that has it.
Okay.
It has the little Sega thing. So that's the other thing, is now it comes in a little Sega, like handheld Sega this big. That's like this big. And you can play all of it. It was about this big, but you can play all of the classic Sega games on it. So we can find it for you easily. Okay. It was real interesting taking it from that. I don't know who the owl was. Like, I have no idea who that first owl was.
You mean as the character?
As the character.
Right. So that's not in the
It could be.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't remember him seeing
again,
it.
they're making a story about
Yeah.
him. You want to be, empathetic towards him and understand his life and stuff. And so I think the idea that I guess he kind of was an orphan, but he was somewhat taken care of, and like how else would he have gotten the coins? I guess you could just find them, but like it kind of I don't know. I think it makes it a better story.
Yeah,
so.
it is true. It's I don't even know where to talk about on this episode.
I mean, it was a fun movie.
It was.
I mean, and I'd like to talk about James Marsden.
Yeah,
if that's okay.
Of course that's fine. That's
no,
fine.
Because I was
the Jim Carrey project.
I know,
about the James
but he was
project.
an important part. We always talk about the other characters.
True, he was in it a lot more than Jim Carrey.
He was, and and obviously we could talk about the actor who played Sonic too, but I'd heard before, and I'd seen him in movies where he was in the movie Hop, where he was with other animated, characters that he interacted with. It was kind of like this. It was a real world situation, and the animated character was in the real world.
Yeah.
He also went to kind of the animated world too a bit, but yeah. And I'd heard him say this before, and I heard him say it again on this one about like, how hard it is to work as an actor to act with something that is either not there at all. He said sometimes
this is your co-star.
Yeah, I mean, he said sometimes there was a doll, and sometimes it was just a dot, or a piece of tape or something, and you look at her, So you really have to, just your eye line for one thing, and making sure you really look like you're talking to someone, and I don't know, like I think he's completely convincing, and that he's interacting with that. I do remember so I've seen a lot of like kid movies, but like Alvin and the Chipmunks is another one I've seen a lot of, and there's several of those, and they are good. And what's his name? Jason
Biggs.
Nope. What's his name now? He was on the Earl Show. My name is Earl.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, and
anyway.
I cannot think of who it is.
Anyway, he did a great job acting with the Chipmunks as well, but I do remember noticing the way held them or moved with them seemed a little awkward.
Sometimes
it seemed, you could tell there was nothing there, and I actually felt like I never thought that with James Marsden when he would because he picked up Sonic a few times and rolled him over and carried him and did different things with him, and it looked, and maybe they give them something now to work with, and then they take it out, but
it's just a blob of green screen
something I don't know. But I thought he did a great job with the interactions and the character
and he's a good actor as well. He's very endearing. This movie had a lot of heart to it. His desire to grow as a person is also his desire to be in his home where he grew up and lived there forever.
That was good too.
Ben Schwartz as the Sonic the Hedgehog was very good. He's an improviser. I was telling you this a second ago that he's an improviser and an actor, and he's been the voice of something else, but now this is his Sonic the Hedgehog, so it's like he's got a lot of energy, and I think they did the right casting for him on making sure that he was good.
I think the voice is so important for characters like that, and I thought there was enough youth in the voice and spunkiness, but also I don't know what the word is,
some experience.
That's the word. I was gonna say wise, but there was some experience. It came across really well, and that's probably hard to do unless you're just lucky and that's just what your voice sounds like, and that's who Sonic is now. But I think probably he had to work pretty hard too to get all those things to come across when he's just in the booth reading that stuff.
I don't know. I have not had a real opportunity to do that kind of work, but I cannot imagine that it's the easiest thing in the world.
No, I think you definitely have to put some work into getting those kind of feelings from it.
Can you open that for me?
Yes, of course.
Thanks. It's your phone. I was going to look something up about Ben Schwartz. Just trying to figure out exactly what else he has been in, because he's been in quite a bit of stuff. I know he does improv. I know he does sketch comedy. He was on Parks and Rec, so that's one of his longest running roles, and then College Humor and stuff. So he's been he's been around. He does the voice of Duck on the new DuckTales, which I watched the other day because I had nothing else on.
He's been in
he actually seems like he's doing quite a bit of voiceover stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit more about, I don't know, Jim Carrey. Is there anything you wish you had seen him do, or wish he like that you're like, oh, we've seen that version of him before? Or was it pretty much? Do you feel like it was fresh pretty much the whole time through?
I did. I think you said it right when you said, when I was saying he phoned it in, which he absolutely did not. But what I was saying is that we saw like what I said, you felt nostalgic about seeing the old Jim Carrey that you like love already.
Yeah.
But you're right. There was some. I felt like his acting is honed more than it was maybe when he used to do those crazy characters before, like I'm thinking like Ace Ventura or like that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think there was some newness to the character that he brought. It wasn't just the same old Jim Carrey. There was some more nuances and funny bits. I mean, he wasn't like we've said this before on the show. Like in those early years, he kind of did some of the same things lots of times. And there was a couple things like when he throws his arms up and he kind of bends backwards. Yeah. He did that a little bit, and he did a couple of his signature moves, sort of. Yeah. But there was a lot that he, like you said, the dance part was like really great, a little bit different.
I really want to know, there's that part where the Tyrannosaurus Rex is chasing him in that weird little dance-off thing. Yeah. I want to know if it was the director that was like, all right, when you do this, the angle's down here with the camera. Like, if you bring your head down, is that something that Jim Carrey knows, or is that something that the director is like, oh, no, I got this idea, let's put it here?
See, I always think it's Jim Carrey.
It was such a good little fun
Not to take it away from the director or the writers, but like... I always think that he must come up with some things like that on his own, unless they work together early on and be like, and he maybe they talk it through, or they, what are you thinking, or this is what we're thinking, and they kind of figure it out that way. But yeah, I mean, you always feel Jim Carrey in his roles, and do people write that for him, or does he do it? I think I have to think
probably
he does
a combination of both. His interactions with his henchmen were so fun. Where he's like, my favorite part though is just like where he's pin yourself against the wall, because he's like, I don't want to put in the effort, but you like, and he pushes himself on there. But yeah, like, of course, are you out of your mind? Of course I want to.
Of course I want to go. I love how you make them. I mean, it was just such a cute little.
There's a lot of really subversive parts in there, and unexpected turnarounds with this character and with Jim Carrey, and it's so much fun.
No, I thought that was good, and it was interesting to see, like, again, maybe a little nuance of him developing his character, where he says he doesn't like people, doesn't want to be around people, but he kind of still like he really wants that guy, his little assistant guy, you know.
He's got the relationship with his friend, with his
it's
henchman.
There. It is there. So maybe that will play in later on or something. And now he's, again, spoiler, but like he's stranded on that mushroom island.
With his assistant, the Rock, that I think he carved to look like his
Did it look like his buddy? So. Oh, I didn't look. I could tell it was a face, but I couldn't tell.
Maybe they were just trying to make the puns out of it.
That's
the reconnaissance.
Funny. Oh, maybe so.
It's terrible.
But he did need. He already wanted a person like Rock to be with
a henchman.
Him. Yeah.
Here's something we can talk about a little bit. I don't know if I mentioned this to you before we were going to see it, but this movie had a complete redesign of Sonic the Hedgehog. When they released the trailer, the backlash from the internet was so incredible that they delayed the release of the movie for 6 months to a year, and they completely redid the way Sonic looked, because he had a very different humanish face, and it was just kind of like, what is this about?
It's too creepy.
And then people are like, what are you doing? We have a design of Sonic that works in all the video games and all the TV shows, all the things.
Just make it look like Sonic.
And so they went back.
So can you find the old one? We should look.
There's still I was reading a thing this weekend. There's still toys that have been produced that have the old design. That's like, I kind of want to try and find some of those and just like box them up and keep them safe. Because like if Ben Schwartz as an actor gets more and more recognition and stuff like that, this goof up by the studio of like, we made a terrible decision.
So is Ben Schwartz the voice of it before though?
Yeah, Ben Schwartz has always been the same character.
So it's not, but they
just redesigned
just
the entire
of the animation part.
Yeah, open that and I'll show you. See if I can find the old one. This is a new experience filming in a car, by the way. Sonic the Hedgehog original design. Let's see what it looks like.
Pull it up and show.
This is the old. How do I make that bigger? Rotate it. Rotate, enhance. So that's the old version of it. That was like, ooh, this is like way too hedgehoggy. And then this is the new version of it.
It does look more hedgehoggy. You're right.
If you guys can see that. Oh, that's reflections on reflections. There it is, right there. So, old, terrible, creepy, and new, fresh, and Sonic, which this is realistic, but it's like, why would you make it the eyes? He's an alien character. Why would you get rid of it to make him look more human? I mean, it's just, it's way more endearing.
With his big eyes.
Yeah, he's way more like.
You're right. Almost looks a little bit like a real hedgehog.
This belongs. The old version of him belongs in the pits of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory somewhere as a creature that you don't want to run into. Versus the new one, he's so sweet and endearing, and he looks like the video games that everybody knows and loves.
It's funny that people were so they were so angry about
boisterous and loud, and like the fact that the studio followed through and was like, you're right, means that somebody obviously had that said that already somewhere. Like, I knew it.
Exactly.
But I also,
there's some guy who like drew a different version of it and was like, I told you.
You guys are dumb. So let's talk about ratings on it real fast. What did you think of the movie? Where do you give it on the?
Okay, so I see a lot of kids movies, so I feel like I can rank the kids movies always a little better because I do see a lot of them. I'd say, God, I always rank them so high. Now I'm gonna go a little lower. I'm gonna say 7. Just because I don't know why.
I mean, it was fun.
It was fun.
Endearing.
I guess. Okay, this is from my girl point of view. It felt a little bit like a little boy movie to me, which my boys will love, and I do love seeing that with them. I personally feel like Sonic is geared. I mean, it's not like My Little Pony or some girly ones, but there's some animated movies that I feel like really appeal to little boys and little girls equally. I don't feel like this was one of those.
This was on the cusp of having. This had like 1 or 2 fart jokes.
Yeah, it did.
What'd you eat? It was a chili cheese dog, whatever. But then they had the little girl who was very endearing and very genuine with the Sonic. Yeah. We got the red shoes is the look that we know of.
Yeah, that's what Sonic. I figured.
Like, that's the look. There it is. Yeah. So I can see your point of view on this being a very much a boys' movie.
It's like a lot of blow-ups and chases.
Explosions, car chases, bar fight, which was fun.
Yeah.
I really like that whole bar fight, the slowing down time and having the main character, which
that's a cute idea.
It's a speed character. He has to go fast. The only way to do that is slow stuff down. So we had some similar perspectives in that, where I've seen in X-Men where it's the character Quicksilver does a whole fight scene where he sets people to punch themselves, and then like the Flash does it in other movies.
There's
and things like
animated one called Over the Hedge, and there's a squirrel who's really fast,
and
he
does that.
Too.
You pause it, but it's still, when it's done well, it's super fun. I thought it was done well.
Yeah, it's a cute. It makes sense. It works really well for this character.
You give it a 7.
7, but a good solid 7, like in every way, good way possible.
I saw Power Rangers in theaters when it came out a while ago. And I would give that like a 5.5 and a 6. Like, this was a much better, I think, kids movie. It was very fun. It kept our attention. I think kept my attention for most of the time. So I would definitely follow with a 7.5, maybe an 8 on there. For Jim Carrey in particular, I can't not rate him low, so an 8.5, 9 as that character. It's a strange
Although I
character.
am really excited to see him in some of the more serious roles, because I've seen a few of those and I've really, really enjoyed them. But I'm so curious to see those again. Like those. And I know we're a few
there's a couple
away from that.
There's a couple more episodes where we got.
But I think of like him, like he. He's done all these silly ones, and then he went and did that really serious stuff for a while. And then that's why I thought he just must love coming back and like just having
Having the
fun.
free- yeah.
And he's so good at kids movies. Like
Yeah.
the kids movies he's done, whether they've had animation or not. Like I was thinking of Mr. Popper's Penguins and
That
stuff
was a
like
fun
that.
movie, yeah.
Like he's just really good with the kids movies. I think the kids just like love him, and immature adults as well.
Yeah,
So.
he's got that. He's got the zaniness and the
Yeah.
movements. And I was just
And the
thinking, like
immature adults.
all those
Like-
moments in the movie where he's doing the
Oh,
the
yeah.
glove stuff. It's like
Mhm.
it's not great, but it's also like the character is like
good.
it's unique. So I think overall it was a really fun movie. It's funny to see him where we're at the beginning of his career still in this project,
much,
and then
yeah.
it's like bam, we come here, and it very much is like, oh, this is definitely Jim Carrey, and this is where this is not where he's gonna end up by first sense,
No.
but like this is what we know him for, and he is still very good at it even this far into his career.
Yeah.
It's still great.
He's doing great.
It's still fantastic.
I want to watch some of those new episodes too that he's doing.
The kidding.
Yeah. I don't really know much about it, but I want to see some.
We'll get there.
Okay.
I'll figure out where we could do maybe a couple
Okay.
other episodes, special episodes like that,
Sounds
in
good.
living color kind of thing.
Oh, we still
So
haven't done those.
we have not watched any of those.
We
So
got a lot to do.
yeah, we still have a lot to do in this project. So, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Again, this was Brian Kondrach with the Jim Carrey Project with always.
And Carrie Grant.
Thank you guys for tuning in as we film from my car as we just watched Sonic the Hedgehog. Check us on Facebook, Instagram, follow our YouTube, check out our other videos.
Podcast.
Our podcast is where you can get any of your podcasts. So this one will be on there too.
Okay.
I think next week or next episode is going to be Doing Time on Maple Drive,
Oh, never
which
heard of
is
that.
one of Jim Carrey's final movies before Ace Ventura comes out. So
Okay.
we are right there on the cusp of
Sounds good.
him becoming the Jim Carrey and the world famous Ace Ventura. Anyway, guys, check out everything that we just talked about. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you later. Bye.